Yo, what's going on, guys? Kaoiji here. So we just got the NGS headline, and this is your recap that you guys should be expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you, I set my expectations incredibly low, but Sega went out of their way to say, hey, we're gonna crush those expectations that you have that are low, but then also exceed what you could have had. So I'm not gonna be covering anything really to Bouncer this time. You guys can actually go check out the headline yourself because I'm gonna be talking about that in a separate video. First things first, what they wound up talking about is the actual trigger quests, which are now called Battle Dia quests. There are two types of these quests. One of them that'll give you experience and materials, which is simply called Battle Dia Yellow, and the other one's Battle Dia Purples, which are the big token enemy ones where you can actually get a lot of gear that you would wind up using, such as Straga weapons and other augments. You can also fight Gigantics enemies that'll be available here as well, so if you don't want to be able to wait for them out in the world, you can fight them here, which, you know, I said Gigantics correctly for the first time ever, but hey, whatever. These are incredibly accessible, and while the items that you will then receive to be able to access this are rare, this still adds to the gameplay loop something critical that we were missing before. This means that the content that we currently have that's available in the game, such as randomized enemies and other things like that, are no longer random, and we can do them at our heart's content so long as we have the items that allow us to access this. You can access this with 4 people, but it is unclear at this present moment in time whether or not one person will be able to pay for everybody or if each individual person has to pay for themselves. We also know that there's going to be new elements that are going to be involved, such as the mag form change, which will allow you to be able to change the appearance of your mag, which is a highly requested feature and something that was available in base PSO2. Beginning October 13th, the mission pass will also be available, which will give us a variety of new items as well as new fashion items and other things that will be exclusive to the mission pass. One very key feature that they wound up telling us is the free-to-play version of this mission pass will include the free 3-day shop passes that we've been asking for quite some time. Now, this is a very key thing here because now free-to-play players will have access to be able to sell things on the player shop so long as they continue to do the mission pass. However, as a sign of good faith for 9 million players, they will be giving everyone a free mission pass gold ticket on the release of the mission pass on October 13th. Also showed us a new augment that'll be available for bouncers, and then they also showed us a new special scratch that'll be available within the game. This scratch will have weapon camos that are usually hard to get and can be obtained for free. They also said that there'll be new color variants of the weapons that we currently have, and these will allow our PAs to have different effects or colors or their attacks. But going back to the special scratch, they did say that these scratch tickets that will be available for free will be available from daily tasks as well as the mission pass. Now, there's not very much to talk about when it comes to the actual Halloween event itself because it is very copy pasted from before with some added elements that are very quality of life. Everything they spoke about was very welcome, but then they had a new segment called Operational Report. This is a segment where they spoke about the management and addressing a lot of the community issues within PSO2. Now, rather than recap and edit what they wound up saying when it comes to the actual operational report, I feel like it's critical for you all to actually hear what they said directly from Hiro Arai, which is the official navigator of PSO2. The reason I feel like it's so critical is because they actually held accountability over a lot of the current issues that are happening within the Phantasy Star Online 2 community. They address the lack of content. They also address a lot of other major issues when it comes to the game, and I can't really recap that. You have to hear it from them.
Operation Report. Since the launch 4 months ago, we have received lots of feedback from our players regarding game content and updates. I have chosen feedback and questions from you for the dev team and live ops team, and I would like to bring you their answers in this NGS Operation Report segment. First, we have this. As it is unclear, please tell us about the roadmap from here on out. Let me answer that. We had released the roadmap in the information program before the game launched. However, since we didn't show it in this program after launch, it seems that there are quite a few people who didn't know about it. That is something we should have considered. Furthermore, we have not provided sufficient information regarding the direction of upcoming PSO2 NGS updates, causing some of our players to feel uncertain. We sincerely apologize. There is one major update approximately every 6 months in NGS. During these updates, large fields, called regions, and new stories set in these regions are added. The next major update is scheduled for December. A new region as big as Alio will be released, along with Chapter 2 of the story. We have some special information at the end of this segment today. I would like to show you footage of the new region. You don't want to miss it. During the period between these major updates, our objective is to work on player-related expansions, new quests, seasonal events, and minor system improvements and additions. However, we have also received the following feedback regarding such objectives. There is not a lot of playable content. Please update it more frequently, like you did with PSO2. Allow me to answer that. The difference in the frequency of updates between NGS and PSO2 is as I described before. However, the dev team also thinks that the small range of playable content in PSO2 New Genesis is a big problem. They have taken your feedback and will make some significant changes based on that. Planning and production are already underway for a higher volume of content to come in updates after December so that our players can enjoy the game even more. While we will need some time to solve this problem, we do plan to further enrich the game, so we ask for your patience. Next is this. Urgent quests spawn spontaneously, so sometimes I don't make it in time. Could you address this, such as by increasing the spawn rate? To answer this question, PSO2 New Genesis was originally designed with the intention for players to play mainly in the open field and enjoy the spontaneous urgent quests and gigantics fights. However, we have received a lot of feedback that this is inconvenient for players whose gaming time is limited, and that is true. Therefore, to test a change in objectives, there will be a campaign where urgent quests are announced ahead of time for 1 week, starting tomorrow. Additionally, when new urgent quests or expansions to current urgent quests are released in the future, they will randomly occur at a higher rate for about a week after release. We will decide how to move forward in the future based on the response to this as well. I will also be talking more about urgent quests in the satellite information segment later on. So far, we've talked about the general operational objectives, but I've also chosen some questions about the game that everyone's curious about. First is this one. I have a weapon or armor that I like, but I don't feel like enhancing it until there's a drop with a preset skill. Are there any plans to implement a transfer function? I have an answer from the dev team. The dev team plans to implement a preset skills transfer function for weapons with the same name in a future update. The color variant weapons introduced earlier will be treated the same as the original color weapons of the same name. Therefore, there is no need to wait until you get a color variant weapon or until you get a drop with preset skills to enhance your weapon. Additionally, they said that they are also considering implementing it for multi-weapons. However, they will be rolling out these functions in stages, so the support for multi-weapons might not become available until later on. On to the next question. Some nice players tell others via blight rounds, but it would be great if gathering materials such as minerals and vegetables were easier to find. I have an answer from the dev team. They plan to include an expansion on the mag sonar function, an improvement that will make gathering materials easier to find in a future update. It will also be possible to filter the search to the gathering materials you're aiming for, such as meat only or red containers only, etc. On to the next question. Discriminatory remarks appear in the chat or via symbol arts and make me very uncomfortable. Will we be able to fine-tune display options for remarks made by other players? Let me answer that. We have confirmed that some users have made obscene symbol arts and have made discriminatory remarks in the chat. Sega does not tolerate this kind of behavior, and we are working daily to counter these toxic players. As a countermeasure, options to toggle display for each chat category will be implemented in the October 13th update. Additionally, you will also be able to toggle display for symbol arts for each category as well. Please give it a try. We apologize for the late response. We will continue to address these problems going forward. That's all for the questions and feedback that I will be talking about today. Going forward, I will continue taking some of your feedback to the dev team or the live ops team and sharing their answers with you. Please also share your thoughts and feedback regarding this show or the game with the hashtag NGS headline on sites like Twitter.
With that out of the way, I want to be able to make something very clear. We got a lot of good news when it came to this headline, and I fully understand that a lot of people are going to be very hurt because of the way that the launch of NGS wound up happening. I got hurt as well, and there have been a lot of varying opinions when it comes to the game and its direction. Whether or not Sega actually cares or whether or not they're listening to the community, and this alone wound up showing that they are listening in some way, shape, or form. However, this is also your reminder that they mentioned it themselves, that a lot of the major changes that we're looking when it comes to content isn't going to happen until after the winter update. I'm very glad that Sega's taking accountability and they're actually proving to the community that they are listening. But until the winter update, set your expectations at a reasonable pace because we're still not going to have the ability to wave the magic wand to be able to have content exactly where we want it until after the winter update. So continue giving your feedback and everything else related to Phantasy Star Online 2 using the hashtag available. I mean, we're getting scheduled urgents back, which to me is honestly very huge because they didn't want to do this in the first place, but it's a system that works and it works well. And they're going as early to say that it begins tomorrow at the time of recording this video. So again, I hope very much that Sega can continue this track of positive reinforcement that they have for the community and show that they are in fact listening. Communication is key and has always been key when it comes to online games because when the community is uncertain, they're left to their own devices to be able to figure things out. And that doesn't exactly win for anybody. So I hope that this recap was at least beneficial for you guys and helped to quell some issues because for me, the headline was actually a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be. I'm excited for the game and I'm excited for its future, but I'm also holding things close to my chest because I don't want to be hurt again. I will continue covering the game for the long term. I will also be covering other things, but again, Phantasy Star is my home. This community is my home. Sega has created a home for me and I don't want to abandon that. With that being said, that's the end of the recap. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.